Right, well, today's lesson is about algorithms and testing. Have you guys done any algorithms before? I know you've worked through some test files before, even if you didn't edit them, but you've seen tests failing and passing. But what about algorithms?
I've never heard or seen
No.
this anymore. Sorry, can't speak anymore, but I haven't seen this yet. No.
Okay. Right, so it's basically a process or set of rules. You could compare it to a recipe. So you have your ingredients, your measurements, and your instructions, and it's in a step-by-step process. It's a good practice for logical thinking. If you're in the front end like me, you won't use them that much, but it's still good to know for getting what you want. Like we'll see in some of the examples. And it's a great way to learn how to write tests. So one good website I can show you is Code Wars. You can go on it at any point when you're ready and sign up with your GitHub, and you can train on different problems that other users and the organizers of this website have created in any language that's available. So I've done most of mine in JavaScript. So basically you would get a problem, they will tell you what they want from it, and you write the code, and then there are some tests to pass. Very similar to what you guys have been doing so far.
So should we go to codewars.com or?
Not today, but I'm just showing you it so that
okay,
if at the end of this you're still interested in doing lots of algorithms, you can. This is a good website to go to. Some employers would look for some skill in solving algorithmic problems. So you might get a whiteboard problem, like if you were going to Google or Facebook or something like that. I haven't really had to do much of that, but it's still good for your general programming knowledge to practice every now and then. On Code Wars, you get a ranking. So right now I have, right now I'm at 5 KU, but I think it goes up to 1. You start at 8, then you go up to 1 progressively by completing different katas, called katas, yeah. Anyway, right, so
the has whole can.
Oh yeah, sorry, that was that was the name of our group in the boot camp that I went to.
Okay.
You can create your own clans, and so that everyone can maybe join a group and answer the same challenges. Right. So as I said, today is gonna be hands-on. So here we are with a problem. It's called maximum difference, and it's saying given an array of numbers, return the maximum difference between any two elements. So in this array of 0, 5, and 10, if we calculated maximum difference, in this example, it would be 10.
Got it.
And here, so this is how you could start off. You could have a test array, and this is the starting of a function you can create, and then I just want you to console log what you can do with it. Yeah, so you have 15 minutes to do it. I can give you 20 if you want. But yeah, so given that given an array of numbers, find the maximum difference between any two elements. And you can use this test array here. I'll leave this screen open for you. Is that okay?
Sure.
Yeah. Ask me if you need any help, but I'll start the timer. Oh, well, we could resume at 6:30.
Okay. So I didn't expect that.
Yeah, sorry. So if you have VS Code,
first need to create my folder actually.
Create a file and
Okay, where's my
Are you going to be coding it or are we?
yeah, I'll code after.
Okay.
But I just want to give you guys a chance to try it on your own.
Okay. Yeah, no, I know if you were. So basically, you're just showing there like the basic structure.
Yeah, this is a good start. You want me to? I can paste this in the room for you.
No, that's fine. That's fine. No needed.
Okay, cool.
new file? Okay, so once I'll put myself on mute, sorry. Does the differential need to take into account the negative amount as well?
No, for now we'll just worry about positive numbers.
Positive integers, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is that you having fun, Ricardo?
Yeah.
What's the formula to get an absolute amount?
ABS.
Sorry,
Math.abs.
Dot ABS, you say?
I think so.
Math.abs. Cool, thank you.
Yep, returns the absolute value of a number.
Do you want the result to be console? Wait. Hold on. Forget it.
So, yeah, so npm init. I guess we wanted to run it. You could do npm init -y. Or you should be able to just do node index.js. All right, anyone got it yet?
Okay.
Don't worry if you didn't get it.
Now I'm getting the greater, the biggest number. I am not getting the smallest one. I'm close to get it, and once I get it, I just need to get the difference between them.
All right.
Just checking on my if statement. What I was laughing about is that I'm doing this with the very bare bone basics of programming with for and if, and I'm sure you're gonna solve it with a method that will be like 2 lines.
Yeah, good.
Same here.
And we get like 20 lines in here just to do that.
Yeah, I'll do it as simple. I'll try to do it as simple as possible that comes to my mind, and then I'll put it on one line. But
I was thinking to start playing with the max and min methods from math.
yeah, that's a
And
good idea.
If I have to do it right, I will do it that way. But I have to Google about the specific format for the methods. So if I have to do it quick, I'm just doing the for and if, which is actually the longest way. But that was what I was laughing about. Like, yeah, I'm going to do all these 100 lines of code to get that, and then Patrick is just going to call a method and he's going to make it in 2 lines.
Don't worry about that. It's coding is only good if it's readable. So even if I do it in one line, like if
Yeah.
every other
And
developer can't.
my logic at this point is failing in the I'm getting the greatest value, and when I'm not checking for the if my element greater, it's fine, it's getting the greater. I'm just need to think about why is my element less than lesser, which is a variable. It's not giving me that, but I need to concentrate on this, and I cannot do that while I'm talking, and like at like the spotlight in here.
Oh,
But
sorry.
anyways, yeah, I'm close to get it, so but you don't have to wait on me if everybody else is ready.
Yeah, I'm actually same or even less further than you. I'm like, the way I did it is I just use a for loop and then compare the absolute difference between one element versus the other. But my issue is actually also just comparing one by one and not. So I wouldn't be comparing 28 versus 4. I would be comparing 28 versus 5 and then 28 versus 19 and then 21 versus 19. So that doesn't work really.
Okay, well, that will come in handy for the next one we do. But I'll not quickly, I'll show you the way that.
Oh, yeah, no, actually, what you should be doing is find the max and then find the min and then compare the two.
Yep.
It's so easy, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So we could say const max equals math.max. Right, so that, oops.
That's the problem when we are timed. We can have stress and just start going into a direction. But
yeah,
that happens all the time. When Tom said like, "Well, I wasn't ready for this." I mean, usually you start thinking about how am I going to do stuff before getting right into the coding. But if you says like, okay, you get time minutes and the time starts now, you are like, okay, I need to get my hands on the keyboard and I'm figuring out while I on my way what I need to do instead of just think about it before getting the hands on the keyboard.
Yeah, I would say if you're given a time, I would say take maybe a third of the time to try thinking about how you would approach it, because that would help a lot. When you get more mid-level and senior, you realize that programming is a lot more about thinking and planning than the actual coding, because the coding gets easier. It's just the how you get everything to work and deliver all the business value possible. That becomes annoying if you don't think it through well enough. But yeah, in this case, we just need to find the maximum. So we could use math.max and then just spread that array into there. So we have that maximum value. Then we can do.
Why do you need to spread the array? Remind me.
So math.max takes it takes so if you do math.max, it would take 1, 2, 3, 4. It would take parameters like that. It wouldn't take, and I don't think it would take the actual array straight away like that. I think it would give me an error. I'll try it now.
So when we say spread the array, actually it puts the array in a list of numbers or items.
Yeah, a list of elements for.
Okay.
Yeah. And if we do min, then we have the max and the min. Then if we just return max minus min, I think it should be 24. So if you run node index.js, yeah. So this one is 10. For this one is 24 because 28 is the max and 4 is the min. 28 minus 4. Let me try it quickly without the spread. Yeah, get not a number.
I get 24. Yeah. And it is 24, but it's 28 minus 4, right? So that should be fine.
Yeah. So a one-liner would be after min.
It's pretty cool. Quite like it.
What algorithms? Or just this one in general? Just this one, sorry. Min.
See, Ricardo, you have your 1.9 now.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's what I was laughing about, you know, like, I know it was a specific method to get things done, and we were all looking for the long way, which is a more logical, unless, I mean, until you actually have used those methods before and you know that there's a method for everything. Until you find that method, you will just go the long way.
Yeah, so
Yep.
you will get better as you get to use these things, but it's not every situation that requires you to use any of the math library. In fact, I hardly use it. Okay, so that's that one. Christina, did you find this okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
I'm not okay with this, but yeah, I'm looking.
Okay, I assume that the exercises for this lesson are going to be pretty tough if they're going to be on algorithms and writing tests. But just take your time and try not to Google how to find your max difference or something in JavaScript. Just break it down. You want the maximum difference, so you want the max value and the min value, and then you want that difference. So
did you say that the exercises this week are going to be tough?
I mean, I assume they are going to be, if they're going to be anything related to what we're going through now, which is algorithms and testing.
Oh.
But it'll be good practice, so stay excited. Okay. So now we have updated problem. So we want the maximum difference between adjacent elements. So that means, is this the maximum difference? Is this the maximum difference between these two? So in this case, it'll be good to use some kind of loop, because you're just looking for the differences between two values that are adjacent to one another. So how much time do you have this one? 10 minutes, so less than before.
Jeez.
So you could take 3 minutes to think about it, how you would approach it.
So we have to get the difference between, for example, 5 and 28.
Yeah.
And then 91 and 21, or should we, the result of 5 and 28 is going to be 23. So will the next attempt be 23 and 19? Then the result of that versus 21? Then the result of that versus 4? Or we just do one at a time and forget about?
Well, the order of this might be totally random at any given point in time. The 28 might be over here next to the 6, or it might be next to the 21 on the other side. So you have to account. You definitely have to go through the entire array. My hint would be to use let and create a variable where you can store that maximum difference as you go through.
Okay, I don't think you understood my question. Let me ask you this. The first operation in this particular case, okay, so I know it's gonna vary depending on the items in the array. So here, my first value is 5, my second value is 28.
Right.
My question is, for my next attempt, what is my first value? You see the 23 that I get as a result of the previous one
Mm-hmm.
versus the 19. So my next attempt is going to be 23 and 19.
No, because 23 is your maximum difference.
Okay, so next attempt is 19 versus 21.
No, it'll be 5 and 28, and then 28 and 19, and then 19 and 21.
28. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
So you can use a variable to store how the difference you've gotten so far, and keep going. Right. I'll give you another 15 minutes for this one if you want. But otherwise, just try your best.
We probably need the rest of the afternoon.
Oh no, I doubt.
I'm kidding.
All right.
It's good practice, isn't it?
Yeah. So you can use the same test array and just create another function below what you have already. Go from there.
And you want that as a console log or what?
Yeah, you can just console log it. I mean, it's really for yourself right now, so that you can see what you're getting up. But
I got them already. I'm just gonna push them to a different array and make them look nice.
okay, cool.
I got stuck for a while because I was using for each and I was just not sure how to compare items in the for each method, but now I'm just going to use a normal for.
Okay, I'll show you how to use it for each afterwards.
Cool.
I'll be right back. I'm going to get some water.
Cool.
I think I got it as well.
Awesome.
Let's see if I just add another number just to check that it works.
Yeah, if you add another number between like 5 and 28.
Yeah, it works actually. Cool.
Awesome. Now try to refactor it.
Sorry?
You can try to refactor it to make it either smaller or well, yeah, don't worry about efficiency right now. Try using the for each now. You can, well, or I can show you. Doesn't matter, but
So the for each where I'm struggling is just the, like in the normal for, you can say array I plus 1 and array I. How
Yeah.
do you determine the next like the next item for each if you want to talk about for each? Sorry, if you want to talk about two items in one. In the same argument. If that makes sense.
Yeah. So for each, if it would give me. Okay, let's go to the browser.
What?
I have no idea what that was. So for each, so you can pass in the callback, and that callback can give you the the current value, which is what you will use, but it can also give you the index and the array. So if you did array.forh and then you came here and you said, so let's call the actual value num. Oh, there it is. So yeah, so you get the value and you can also get the index. So we can call that I, and then you'd have access to the index here. So
yeah, pretty okay. That's where we are. I mean, I feel like I'm improving so much. Like if I compare where we are now versus 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago.
yeah, that's good. Are you guys like journaling or
Sorry?
are you guys journaling or blogging about your time here?
Not me, no.
Okay.
I don't know about the others, but I know I'm just comparing like how easy I kind of start an exercise today versus where I was, I don't know, at the start.
Yeah, it's really good to acknowledge the wins that you get, no matter how small they are.
Yeah.
Kept me going when I was learning.
Agreed. So do you want us to say how we thought about it, or
Yeah, well, you want to walk me through yours?
sure, yeah. Sorry, are we done on time or so? Am I hijacking the floor here?
It's like almost up, I guess.
Okay,
If we were sticking to the 10 minutes, but Ricardo and Christina, are you okay for us to start with the solution? Yeah, cool.
Yeah, sure. So I mean, the way I did it, I guess, is by using a for loop. I just started by adding a let, and then call it diff, and then call it and have a zero value. So I put it outside the for loop. Sorry, just as a start.
Okay.
And then exactly like let's, I don't know, diff or whatever, max called 0. And then within the for loop, I just added like as Ricardo was saying, I'm being quite just added an if loop, sorry, an if statement.
Yeah.
And then within that statement, I just said I used the math.apps function.
In here?
And yeah, sorry, exactly in the condition math.apps.
Mm-hmm.
And then compare the difference, the math apps of the array I plus 1 minus array I.
Array I plus 1 minus I in here?
No, close the, exactly, and then minus array.
Oh, array I, okay.
I. And then this must, if then more than max. So if that math apps array I plus 1 minus array I is more than max, then max equals math apps equals the whole thing. Yeah.
The whole thing, okay.
So not very clean, but and then outside of the for loop, the return max. I might have missed something, but it worked when I did it. So
yeah, cool.
5, I don't know.
23.
I don't know why you need the if in
there. Because if it's not bigger, then we'll.
You're still getting the difference, I think. My code is there in the Slack channel. If you want to check it.
So you are pushing. But where do you check which one is the maximum? Are we checking the maximum, right?
It's just getting the difference between the two.
Yeah, but this would. Well, let's see what it does.
Well, sorry, if we need to check for the max, then I'm not doing that. I was just getting the difference between the two of those, between the adjacent.
I thought we were checking the maximum adjacent difference. So basically, which one is where the delta between the two is the highest?
Yeah, so it would be similar to the previous problem, but we're just getting the maximum difference between any two adjacent elements. So if this is a maximum difference, or this, or this, or this.
Okay, so basically you're just getting the max number from my resulting array.
Yeah,
because my resulting array is getting the difference between all the adjacent, so you just need to look for the biggest one then.
Oh, okay. So you mean if we have this and then we do return path max. Like that.
Oh well, yeah, the test array. You didn't call it test array. You have to put the name of your array.
Yeah. Oh, let me do 2. Yeah, well,
So what are we doing?
that works.
You're not consoling out.
So you're going through the array and you're
Yeah, but you're not consoling out.
yeah, I'm canceling out. Yeah. So I just put your code within my function, and these console logs here are calling my function with the test array. Oh well, no. Then again. Oh yes, you're not. Let me change these to array. Because you should be using what is passed in to the function. Right, so 5 and 23. Yeah, that works. Yeah, so multiple ways to do it.
So here, what you're doing is you're logging in each difference, and then you're looking for the max of those difference. Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah.
My wave was longer, so.
Was mine okay, or was it?
Yeah, yours was good. I didn't think about using math.absolute. What I would say is, if you find yourself having to do something as long as this twice, then put it in a variable first. So up here you could have
Yeah.
const. Let's call it ABS equals that. Oops, ABS. Right, so yeah. Anytime you find yourself doing an expression or calculation more than the same thing more than once, then just assign it to a variable first and then do the comparison. So that would have been a cleanup. Yeah, and as I said, with the for each, you would just take the index from what you get in the callback function. Probably just send my stuff afterwards, so you don't take too long with this, because I think there's at least 2 more. Was that okay for you, Christina? Move on?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Right, so testing, or test-driven development. That's what I'm supposed to be doing at work, but normally I end up coding before I test, which is a very bad habit. But test-driven development is what would definitely allow you to think about what you want to code before you actually code it. And there's this thing called red-green refactor. So what you do is write a failing test, then get it to pass. Sorry, failing test, yeah, so that's red. Get it to pass, then that's green, and then you refactor it, and then it's like a cycle. So you refactor with a failing test as well, then get it to pass and until it's good enough for you. It's mainly used for unit tests. So like what we've been doing so far, that's a function does one thing basically. So we want to unit test that if we want to share that across our code base, so that if someone else comes and tampers with your function, then the next time they go to build the project, if you have the test set up properly, those should fail and alert that person that they've ruined your function or you ruined your logic. There are different test frameworks. Today we're going to be using Jest for JavaScript. And this is what it looks like. I think you've seen some of this in, like, when you have your failing tests, it will have a description of what it's testing, and then it will say it expected this to be that, something like that, right? You've seen that before?
We've seen the result of it in the test that we are doing.
Yeah.
I would like to see how that works.
Mhm.
If you're going to set up testing functions in here, then you're going to be my hero for the day.
Yeah, TDD is a good thing to work with. So
Awesome.
should be something very simple to set up. This is the format for how you will write your test. You would use the test keyword, and then you would open brackets, and the first thing is a description, short description of what it's testing, and then the function body, and in there you would you can have more than one expect, but you just use the keyword expect, and then this should be the function that's being called, and so the result of that, or you could call it up here and then assign it to variable and use that variable here, and then you would use a matcher. In this case, this is to be, and then you would have that value that you expect it to be. So if it is that value, then it should pass, which means it's green. If it doesn't, then it should fail, and it's red. So in VS Code, we're going to try to set this up and hope everything works for everyone.
So you're supposed to write that down, yeah?
We can go through it step by step and make sure everyone is on the same page. So if you should hopefully have your terminal still open. If you don't, you can open it by clicking here or using Control and tilde. It is for me.
Yeah, I have it open.
Yeah, and then you can do npm init-y.
Are we supposed to do that in an exercise folder or in the main folder?
You can do it in the same empty folder if you've been doing that. If you're doing what we've been doing so far in an empty folder, or at least the folder with the index.js file, or you could create a new folder if you want to start from fresh. But npm init-y would create the package.json that you might have seen before with some like default settings.
Okay.
So if you run that in that folder, you'll create the package.json.
npm install y jest.
For now, just npm init-y. Let's start with that.
I get an invalid name.
Y, okay.
It says to me invalid name, and then he gives me the folder name. A complete log of this one can be found in blah blah blah.
You have Node and npm installed on your machine, right?
Yeah. How can I check that? Node.
Yeah. Node -v npm -v.
Yeah, I have Node, and then npm. Yeah, I should have it because I keep on doing exercise. npm -v. Yeah, I have the two. Yeah.
Do you already have a package.json in the folder you're working in?
That I don't know.
Okay. And if you try
How do I do
npm,
that? How do I create a package JSON?
so the
JSON?
npm init -y should create it for you. You can try it without -y and see, just npm init.
So I get an error message with the -y. So I'll just do an npm init then.
Yeah.
Okay. Package name. It asks me the package name.
Yeah, so you can just
okay.
You can keep pressing enter to skip through if you want.
Okay, got it. Now I have it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Package JSON.
Cool. Ricardo, you have it?
Yes.
Christina, you have it?
Yeah.
Yep, cool. So that's step 1. Step 2 is npm install jest --save-dev. So I'm going to copy this command just in case and paste it in the chat. But if you run that in the same folder, it should install just slowly, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's installed on my stuff. Or...
Yep.
As well.
Let me know when everyone has it installed. In your folder, you should see a node modules folder, a package.json, and package lock.
Yep.
Everyone has it?
Yes, sir.
Christina?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. And then we can create an index.test.js. So you can either in the command line do touch and then name the file, or you can use VS Code and create a new file here.
What's the name of the file again?
Index.
Oh, index.js.
Yeah. And once that's done, you can just open the package.json, and where you see scripts for test, we're just going to replace the stuff here and put jest. That's all you have to do. All good? Does anyone not have index.test.js and the test key and scripts set to jest? Okay. Right, so that's all we need to set up jest.
Sorry,
Oh,
sorry, I got sidetracked on something by my wife. So I'm just quickly create the folder. So new file, index.test.
Yeah, index.test.js.
And what do we do after that? Sorry, we go to the package JSON.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we say test jest.
Yeah.
Rather than echo or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
Right. So I'll come to this in a moment. Yeah, okay. So first let me show you how this would work. Let's say we had a function greeting and it just said hello. If we want to test this function, we just do module.exports equals the name of that function. And then in index.test.js, you don't have to follow me right now, we'll do it later. We would do const greeting, or whatever you want to call it, equals require. And you require that file index. And then remember we have test, so it's test, the test keyword, open brackets, and then you have what it should be doing, should say hello. That's a good enough description. And then inside the function, we would write expect greeting. We call it in here. Then we can say it just to be. And remember, we write a failing test first. So I just write, oops, I'll just write by right now. Save that, and then when you go to the terminal, you just run npm run test. So then jest would, yeah, so as I said, I wrote a failing test. So you get some output showing you what failed. So that's the short description we give it. It's saying what it's supposed to be doing, expecting receive to be expected. So expected here is by, which is what we put there need to be, but it received hello. So that's a failing test. And then we make it pass. When we run it again, we should get a pass. Yeah, so passing. Right, so we're going to go through that again, but I just wanted to show you how it would work.
I didn't get the first bit, the const
Up here.
require jest globals, require index.
Oh, I'm not sure why that is. I'm not sure why that was imported.
Are you going to paste that code for us?
Yeah. But this is just an intro, so I'll paste
Yeah,
this.
it's a good reference for us to look at in the next few exercises.
Yeah, no problem. So index.js. Index.test.js. That's a very basic setup. Right, so our next problem is factorial. The factorial of a non-negative integer is the product of all positive integers less than or equal to the integer. So right here, the factorial of 5 is 120 because we take 5 and in this case, well, yeah, factorial, so we take the one, we basically count down to 1 and multiply by each one, so it'd be 5 by 4 and so 20 by 3, then 60 by 2, and then 6 by 1 to get 120. Factorial of 0 is 1, and I believe if you try to use factorial on a negative integer, it'll be just -1, or we will just ignore it. But yeah, so we'll be trying to implement this. Yeah. So we have some examples here. So factorial of 5 is 120, of 0 is 1, and of 10 is 3,628,800. Let me set you up. So we could start with our function, so const.
So your index.js, you just make it blank again then?
Yeah, I made it blank, but you don't have to. You can comment out the stuff above and start again.
It's just the module exports, we have to also do factorial.
Yeah, so it'll be const factorial. It should take a number, and return a number. In this case, this is just the setup for you. At the bottom, we do module.exports.
Can we keep the greeting and just put a comma and then factorial? Does that work?
I believe you can
what I mean?
put it in.
So if you have, because I kept the previous one, so I just wanted to see if I can keep the greeting and the factorial. Or
let's see.
if you try it, yeah.
I think you might need to put it in an object. I'm not sure.
Okay.
So it'll be
don't worry.
the object, and then name them as key value pairs, so that then when you go to import it, you import them by the name. So in index.test.js, you would require the file, but then you'd say, imported function dot greeting or imported function dot factorial. just because I don't know how that's going to go, I'm not going to bother to do it, and we just focus on factorial. Want me to paste this in as well, or are you guys good?
No, I'm good with that. I'm fine.
Yep. So that's your blank function to start with, and then in index.test.js, we want to say const factorial equals require. We're requiring a file, so we just look for that file, which is index. And we write our test brackets should return the factorial value of a given number. Then you have your function, then you have your expect. So you can expect factorial. Oh my god. We can call it with, let's call it with 5 for now. We want to expect that to be, let's just say 3 for now, because we want a failing test. We can add a comment here to say if we want it to be 120. And yeah, that's your setup, and then you can just run npm run tests to see if it's at least running. Yep, so expected 3, receive 5. Right. Would you like me to copy this part and paste it? And I'm not sure why expect gets, it's probably VS Code just doing auto completion for me, but I don't need it.
I guess the received, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
All good, sorry, all good.
Okay. All right, well, there's your setup.
So now we know all the secrets of these exercises test and how to fudge them to have all the positives without doing the exercise.
Well, you'd only be cheating yourself, but sometimes it's good to look at the test to see what exactly they're looking for, to give you a hint if you're stuck.
Just looking at this, the factorial 5, I mean, where is it actually computing the factorial?
So in this function, this is just like a starter for you, so you need to put your logic in here.
Okay.
Just like previously.
Okay. Yeah, I got it.
Just that in this case, we wrote the test first. And you can...
So you want us to code that?
Yep. I'm supposed to give you 15 minutes.
Okay, send us that code then, please.
Okay. Let me just set this up so that you can use it for your test. The other example. And actually, if you wanted to rename index or create a factorial.js file instead, and then in here you would just import that factorial file if you wanted to keep the methods separate. Alright, so we'll give you 15 minutes. Then we should be able to get the last one done. Remember the exception that if you get a 0, then you just want to return 1. No. You guys didn't see that, that's alright. Good.
What did you say?
No, I found the answer unintentionally. So, but I was just gonna mention that it deals with recursion. Basically, you can call the same function you've created. You can call it within itself.
I'm using a while loop. I don't know if it's.
Yeah, while loop is a should be a way you can do it. Yeah, that's good. And if you want to learn more about Jest, they have good documentation. I hope you asked for a double cheeseburger. Yeah. Okay, good. Hi, sorry, I disappeared for a second. Did anyone need me? No?
No, I'm still working on this.
Okay.
think I got it now.
Nice.
Yahoo. Well, sorry, I didn't do the exception for 0. But let's see how it works if I put 0. Oh. Okay, I have it. So how do we test it then? He just added the test. Okay, so we should add that in our
test. So in the index.test.js, if you've put y pasted in the chat, and then run npm run test, then it should run jest on your function.
And you don't need to put the comma after each expect.
No.
Is that normal?
I mean, because you should put semicolon after each line.
Semicolon, I meant, yes.
But so a semicolon isn't required in JavaScript, but it would be in some or most other languages. But also, if you work for a company who adheres to a certain style guide, they might say, "Oh, we'll always put semicolons," or they might be expecting you to use a tool like ESLint or Prettier, one of those to make sure that you have these semicolons in.
I get a fail, which is weird. Expect factorial. So I'll try again the node.
It failed with 5.
No, it worked with 5, but it failed, in my test. And I have the right number for 10 as well, but my test is, my test sequence is failing.
So did it fail at 0?
It failed at everything. It failed. I think my testing language is not right. I don't know. Const. Sorry, test should return. I had to have that. Expect. Yeah, I have the same as you. Okay, I'll try again maybe. npm test. Yeah, I get the whole sequence is failed.
Does it say why?
Sorry?
Does it point you in the direction of why it failed?
It says expect factorial 5 to be 120. Which
above what does it have expected and received?
I can't see any of it actually. And I only have one failed test suite. I don't have the whole.
Right. Okay.
Oh, you know what it is? I know what it is, sorry. I didn't have the module export. Sorry.
Okay, yeah.
Got it. Yeah, now it works, yeah.
Cool.
How does it look on your side when you test it? Because I cannot see the sequence of tests. I only have one pass, that's it.
So you aren't able to scroll up to see any. It should like show you like a red arrow like this to point out which one failed.
No, so mine is pass, but I just have the green light saying pass, and then should return the factorial value, but I don't have the how do you say? I don't have like the detail of the different tests that it passed.
Oh, okay. So you got all to pass.
Yes.
I think. Is it for both?
So if I break the 0 one, for example, let's just put 0 returns 2, then I'll maybe see the detail of the tests.
Yeah, there's a flag you can use to get. Let me see.
Yeah. Okay, I see it now. It works. Yeah. So I have it shows me where it is wrong.
Okay, cool. Right. Well, this one is a weird one. So just so we have enough time for the next one, you guys okay to use? Well, we can see what Thomas's solution is, or would you like 5 more minutes? Christina, Ricardo.
I'm fine.
Yeah, sounds the same.
Yeah, go. So you said you did a while loop?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I actually started with yeah. I mean, if you want to do it, Ricardo. I mean, what I did is I just started by saying let output equals number. I'm actually not sure if actually that makes a difference.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, yeah, exactly. And then I said while first I put in my if statements to clear that 0 number. So I just said if number equals to 0, then return 1. Okay, I guess you can make it in a. And then I say while number is more than 1, and then in the brackets, in this, yeah, exactly, I put output equals to output multiplied by number minus 1. Yeah. And I don't know if I guess you need to put some brackets between number and minus 1, or does it prioritize? Does it because yeah, it's
Oh yeah,
exactly.
definitely.
Yep. and then number minus minus. Sorry, we're still within the while loop.
Yeah. Number
minus minus, and then semicolon, and then return output. Yeah, exactly.
Cool. If you wanted to separate the tests, you could just
have different test sessions.
Yeah. And also, if you wanted to group your tests, so if this is all about factorial, you can use describe. Factorial. What's wrong with describe? Okay, forget describe then, I guess. Okay. But you would be able to group them with the describe keyword. Not gonna waste so much more time on that. Okay. Yeah, so that's a good solution. Oh, okay. Damn VS Code. So describe should be global, but because VS Code just imported this for me, it used that instead. So if I run it again, it should work. Yeah, so you get the name of the group, and yeah, you could specify that, you know, should return the factor value of 5 or 0, whatever. Right. I'll send you all my solutions after. Okay, the next one, last one, final one, to just try to get through quickly is palindromes. Let me just get this description. A palindrome is a word or sentence that's spelled the same way both forward and backward, ignoring punctuation, casing, and spacing. So here, race car reversed and without the space should be the same, so that's true. This without the space with spaces is false.
Without the space, but there's an E, right? So
yeah, so if we have race,
So it'll be care rather than
car. And if we read it backwards, it's R A C E C A R, which is race car.
So I can't see anything. It looks like my.
Oh, sorry. Let me put it up here then. So if you have R A C E C A R, and if we started with, yeah, sorry. So to get the palindrome to work, you need to remove all the spacing, punctuation, and some it helps to make it lowercase. So race car, and then if you start with the R here.
Yes, okay, I see it now. Yeah, okay, got it.
Yeah.
If you start, okay, got it.
Right. I'm going to comment out this for me. I'll put this back up here. And comment on this. So, yeah, is palindrome.
Is there a function like reverse string? Or?
Yeah, that's one way to think about it. You need to take all these characters, remove any spaces, punctuation, and then compare it to the reverse of it. So I'll give you something for free in a minute. It's palindrome. We're taking some text. So I'm just going to say const prep for prepared word or prepared text or whatever, and I'm going to say text dot replace. Right, and replace will take either the search value or a regular expression. I don't know if you come across regular expressions yet. You don't need to learn them by heart, and they can be very confusing anyway if you don't use them every day. But this, pardon?
Sorry about that.
Okay. So I'm just gonna write this here, and this basically says look for everything that isn't alphanumeric, and just in this case get rid of it, because replace with, after you replace it with whatever's here, and in this case it's an empty string. Where's that? And then, as I said, we should just lowercase it so it's easier to compare. What am I missing from here? Yeah, that shouldn't be there either. Or should it be? Yes. Missed it here. So this would help you.
So the first part, it actually says it search for everything A to Z 0 to 9, and then what is this little G?
Global. It stands for global. So it will search the entire text, and not just find the first instance. Right. So don't worry about it too much. If you wanted to, you could go to regexer, and you can come here and play around with the matchers to see what you can find. As I said, it's not something that you need to know by heart. You just need to know how you can use it. So in this case, you can use it with the replace method on the string, and this will take care of looking for stuff like anything that isn't alphanumeric. The caret here is what says is what is saying, not any of these things. So we're only concerned with these for the sake of the palindrome, and we're just making it lowercase. But I'm just going to send you all of this. Dot exports equals is palindrome. So send you this, and you can get started, and then I'll also send you tests. So when you get somewhere with it, you can add in the tests and try running them. Right? You could take to the end of the lesson. Last time the video ended, and I'm not sure why, but if it does, I will post the solution straight away.
Yeah, just tried your replace. It works quite well.
Nice. Close. Require. I should actually put this in the describe. This should actually, well, I mean, my example should have had return true. Well, I mean, it's returning a boolean, so it could return true or false, but just so you know what it's supposed to be returning, true or false.
What's the, is it appends that append to actually append like a string element or something?
What you mean when you I mean after you split it?
Yes, exactly.
Join.
Join.
Yeah, so you can join it by, you can join it by empty space as well. Yeah, so dot join, open brackets, and then if it's nothing, then it'll be an empty string.
Got it, okay. Thank you. I'm not sure if it's working, but I'm gonna try it.
Right, so just pasted the some tests if you want to use those. But get used to writing them as well.
Come on, man. Sorry guys, I have to dash.
Okay,
8 p.m. But thanks, it was awesome. I'd love to see the result on this. I was struggling to get the dot join to work, but that's I was using a for loop and going. Yeah, maybe I don't know if it actually was working, but I was just with this for loop trying to recreate the opposites of prep, like the reverse, and then compare the two. But I think I need a bit of more time.
no problem. That's all fine. I'll post my solution in any chat.
Cool, thank you. That was fun. Yeah, I have to dash. My work is
okay.
back at me. So. Thank
right.
you.
You're welcome.
See you soon.
Right. See
you guys. I think we lost the other ones. Right. See you. Bye.
Yep, see you. Bye.
See you.
Yeah. I'm here. All right.
See you, Ricardo. Bye bye.
So for loop is the longer way around, but it still works. But you can also just try to reverse the variable I give you, the prep, and then compare it to prep as well.
Patrick, I have something on schedule in a few minutes. This was the last part, right?
Yeah, today? This is the last one. You can go if you want. I'll just post the solution.
Okay. Good to see you. Thank you. Bye, Christina.
Okay. Bye.
Right.
So yeah. Thank you.